How is everyone doing today? It is September 25th of 2023 and I have another really cool pepper that I want to show you guys. This one is called the Black Cobra. And it's this one right here in the blue bucket, also known as the goat's weed pepper. A really super unique pepper. Let me show you guys the stem here real quick. I don't know how well you can see it up close maybe. This stem is actually furry. It is probably, most likely, the most ancient pepper we've grown in our yard, or the oldest variety that's been around. It is an excellent pepper. It's got a furry stem. Normally, the only plants with furry stems are ones from a cultivar called the Capsicum pubescens, which is a usually black seeded pepper. But this one is unique in it, the fact that it is a furry pepper just like the pubescens peppers are, except for the fact that it's actually considered an anum. The Scoville units, we're not going to try one on camera, but the Scoville units usually range to about 20 to 40,000. So even though it might look like a Thai pepper is usually around the range of 50 to 100,000 Scoville units, but in the Chinense, Capsicum Chinense cultivar, this was actually one of the only, if not the only, anum pepper that has the furry stem and also has a similar pepper. I would say it's nothing like that though. With 20 to 40,000 Scoville units, that still can be pretty hot, but that puts it more into a cayenne range, which would be in the Capsicum anum category as well. But a super unique pepper. We got one that's red right here. We're gonna start pulling these off. Yeah, go ahead and go get it. We're gonna take this one off. We probably won't try it on camera. One of the realities of what we grow for is we don't just do it for, productivity. We don't just do it for strength of plant, usability, versatility, any of those reasons. One of the reasons that we actually grow for is just to see something unique. This pepper right here is hot, and I would say that a lot of people might not like the flavor on it, but I would say everything that we have seen on it is it makes it a really mild pepper. In consistency, it's closer to a shishito pepper. The skin on them are pretty flaky, and they make excellent peppers for, say, cooking in a stir fry, for example. That's our favorite use for them. I would say that the flavor is almost non-existent though. It's just a really hot pop and a spicy pepper to put in a stir fry kind of thing, with not a lot of really strong flavor. This pepper's been around for a super long time. They call it the Black Cobra because of the way that it gets almost a black coloration on it and looks like cobras. And I also call it the goatweed pepper, and I believe that's because of the furry plant with the pepper sticking up, kind of look like goat horns, that kind of thing. In the past, a lot of times this pepper has been referred to as a weed as well, not really usable in a lot of senses, just being a near flavorless hot pepper for spicing up foods, for example. So it would make a decent pepper powder, but like I was saying, our highest use for it would probably be like, say, a stir fry. If you've ever cooked a pepper that has the flaky crust kind of like that, they make really good stir fry peppers and stuff. They kind of like add a lot of pop, a lot of heat to it. 20 to 40,000 Scoville units does die down a little bit when you mix it into a stir fry. But if you're not a hot pepper fan, I would say you would probably want to avoid this one. It doesn't have a standout flavor like I was saying. A lot of people don't grow this one because of that reason. But for me, just the uniqueness of it and the look of it is just pretty amazing. It's stem. I really hope I can get a good shot of this. There we go. It's a furry pepper. Furry pepper, super productive. When I first put this in the yard years ago, my first season did really horrible with it. And I believe that was our second or third year. We're on our 9th season right now, but in our second and third year, both years we tried growing this one and just kind of failed at it. So a lot of different reasons that the peppers and the plants in our yard in general fail for us is we just try to overcrowd everything, and sometimes we overwhelm ourselves too much. This season's been no different, but having a run with this one so many times, we finally got it growing good a couple years ago. I don't believe we did grow this one the last season, but our last pepper video was the pumpkin spice jalapeno, and me and Angel the next day were sitting outside in the garden here having a conversation about it, and we were talking about which one was our favorite pepper so far. We have lots more peppers in the yard right now, and it's probably changed since then, but during that conversation, her favorite one was the pumpkin spice, which was the last video we did. And my so far favorite in the yard this year would be the black cobra, just because of its uniqueness. We got probably 20-30 peppers on here, and they might be hard to see through the camera. But this is the black cobra pepper. Really excited to have this one. If anybody wanted to give it a try, I would highly suggest growing it. If you're trying to grow a pepper that is more for the flavor or something along those lines, I would say this pepper wouldn't be for you. But if you're interested in seeing something truly unique, it's probably the only capsicum annum, which is in North America the most popular of the cultivars of peppers, with the furry stem that's similar to the rarest of peppers, which is the capsicum pubescens. So look at that, that looks cool. And I think that's why it gets its goatweed's name. It could also possibly get its goatweed pepper name because nobody wanted to eat this pepper in older times and stuff like that. So that's why you might not hear about it often in a lot of people's yards. A lot of people grow this one for their gardens because of the reason it doesn't have a lot of flavor. There's not a lot of uses. I would say that this isn't even that great of a pickling pepper. You could use just about any pepper or any tomato or any of the vegetables that we grow for different uses. Like this could be pickled, but it just wouldn't be that great of a pickle. My favorite use of it is to put in like a stir fry or to fry up. It is pretty hot if you're not interested in hot, but there's not a lot of flavor. But it's the black cobra pepper. September 25th of 2023, and I will take one in and show you guys a little bit more. Love you guys. Catch you in a second. All right, so one last look at these while we have them inside. We had this one actually off just overnight. It's actually September 26th right now. The dates is mostly just for our own personal vlog information, but this is the black cobra pepper, or also the goat's weed. You can kind of see how it almost gets a black color. This is a underripe one that's still showing quite a bit of green, but they get a little bit darker than that. I figured I'd cut them open and show you kind of what I mean by the wrinkly pepper, or the one that's best for frying. The way that they like to call frying peppers like this, like the shishito, I can't remember the other one. Was it the Fukushima? There was another pepper that was called, I think, the Fukushima. In some ways, you could almost say a little bit of the pepperoncini kind of does it, but it's almost like a flaky style skin, so it's good for what's called blister frying, which means you fry it in butter or oil or something, and a lot of times the skin will separate from itself and collect some of the butter or ingredients that you might have in your frying inside of the skin a little bit. But it just kind of shows you how quickly this one will almost wrinkle out. If we were to underwater that plant out there, it would ripen a lot quicker, but it would get like this. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with growing peppers, but if you're a little bit familiar with growing peppers, say I had like a banana pepper out there and I started watering it tons and tons and tons, it's going to almost like burgeon, maybe even mild out the flavor a little bit as it absorbs water. This kind of pepper that has the more flakier kind of crust doesn't seem to absorb water as much. So if this one is underwatered, the skin will almost get wrinkly on them, and I've seen that also in the shishito a little bit. Like I said, I won't be trying it. A lot of times we just want to show people our personal experience. You can almost see how the crust would separate right there. If you were to blister cook it, it would start to form like blisters on it, which means you just fry it in a frying pan with some oil or butter or something. It would start to blister a little bit, and that will also collect some of the ingredients or flavor that you're frying it with. But it's an excellent fry pepper. It's similar to a lot of the ones that they use for Asian cooking, but a lot of times they use really hot peppers for Asian cooking if it's authentic Asian cooking. But this one right here is one that you might find more in, like, say, something similar to Panda Express or some sort of Chinese cuisine that stir fries, things like that, that would be fried up but a little bit milder. 20 to 40,000 Scoville units. It says a median of 30,000. Like I said, I wasn't going to try it. I'll just show it to you. Really thin skinned, kind of a lot of seeds. We've noticed when we have eaten these before that they don't have a lot of flavor to them, just mostly just fire pop. And so I think that's why it might not be as popular of a pepper to grow for people in their gardens. But I also feel like it really has a huge amount of unique, being the only annum or any other capsicum cultivar other than pubescens that has the fur on the pepper. And that might mean it's even more ancient because it comes from the super rare varieties. But the black cobra goat's weed pepper, a really excellent pepper. It makes decent for lots of different things. A lot of people like to dry these and crush them into powder. I feel like the powder's a little bit thin, and it's just more about just adding spice into a stir fry or something along those lines if you want a little bit of heat. But I would recommend growing it. If you're not into hot peppers, I completely understand, but the plant alone is pretty unique, and I thought it was really cool to show you guys. So I love you guys. I'll catch you next time. The black cobra goatweeds pepper, September 26th of 2023, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Love you guys.